Rena.
Good morning,
Robert.
Chef.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Chef.
Marcel. Good morning. Another beautiful day from what I understand. Yesterday was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
I went to Fredericksburg yesterday. And I'm going to tell you, there was not many people out at all.
You went
Not-
where, Chef?
Fredericksburg.
Oh,
It's about an hour and a half from here.
okay.
Not a lot of cars, but not many people there when we got there. So,
Yeah.
good day. I went by the school. The yard looks different in the back, Chef.
Oh yeah, what'd they do?
They tore down the garden.
Oh, they did?
So, but it looks good.
Good.
Robert, good morning. Nigel, good morning.
Good
Need to
morning,
see
Chef.
everybody. Only got 13. 6:02. Somebody's alarm system going off? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chef. That's my kettle.
Oh, feeling better, Kimberly?
Yes, much better.
Can't believe it's day 17. Time sure does fly by, doesn't it? Good morning, James Francis. Okay. So really, we're starting on day 17 today. Do you want anything to say, Chef Cliff, before we start, or what would you like to say?
Oh no, I was just reaching for a piece of paper.
Okay. So I'm gonna make sure I get, so we're really into cost control, reducing cost and menu, little items of menu. We're really overlapping on a lot of the stuff that we're talking about to make your project a lot easier to bring it all together to make what we're going to be doing. We only have this week and next week and the week after, we have to kind of report to each one of us to understand. We'll be talking more about what we're going to be putting out on the last 2 days really of the week to understand. And all of us have to get on to report about your project. We give you about, I'm going to say 15 minutes or 10 minutes for you to report to us on what your project is all about. What's your restaurant? What is your I would say maybe your dream, or maybe what you'd like to accomplish in your life. Or maybe this is something that just to make you aware of what you want to get done. Really, really important. And then you will have to tell us all, the class and Chef Cliff and myself, what we're expecting from you, or maybe some of your dreams that we're expecting from you. So it's really a nice way of interpreting and coming to an end of restaurant ops. It's a really kind of do by trial, making sure you're getting a lot of stuff done for yourself and for your future. It'll really help your future if you really understand it pretty well. So running a restaurant means cooking at a much larger scale. We talked a lot about this last couple of days. And then a home cook makes hundreds of dishes a day in order to keep it running smoothly. You need to have a standard procedure. Chef, on the computer.
I'm working. Hold on one second.
You need to have a standard procedure of making every dish you need to have all the ingredients and equipment involved in making your dishes in bulk. Do you think that when you are cooking at home versus cooking in a kitchen, is there a difference? Who's a chef or who cooks a lot to understand that? Tell me. Is there a difference?
Well, when it comes to cooking at home, you're really thinking about the individual. So when you're making a plate for yourself, you think about what do you want to prep for one person, as opposed to when you work in a restaurant, you're thinking about what do you want to prep for 100 people. And that involves a lot more doing things, yes, in bulk, prepping things en masse, storing things together very largely.
What do you think about overall recipes when you are duplicating them for mass quantity versus one individual? Does that change a lot? Do you think that it has to be tweaked? Or do you think you could just take one recipe and say, instead of 50 pounds of, a pound of hamburger to 50 pounds of hamburger, do you think that the recipe has to change a lot?
Well, there is a translation when it comes to a recipe. Like when you start with a recipe in a restaurant, it has maybe 5 grams of this, 10 grams of this, another 5 grams of this. But obviously that isn't the right quantity because you're trying to prep it for, again, the 100 people. So you have to up the scale. And when you up the scale, certain ingredients don't necessarily need to be that large because, I mean, if you have 1 gram of salt as opposed to 50 grams of salt, it might be twice as powerful instead of a step and a half times as powerful than you're expecting. So yes, you do tweak it, but no, you don't follow it to the exact amount. Like I remember when I was making a kimchi recipe, we didn't even use an amount of grams. We used 10% of its weight in salt. So it's just like boxes of salt going into this like hundreds of pounds of cabbage. And it was just one of those things where you definitely see the scale being increased without worrying about the actual gram amount.
Yeah, especially with kimchi. Yeah, So really, even though, and then, you know, guys, if you're going to be doing pastry, like, you know, that's what my forte is basically, pastry. When you are duplicating pastry, just remember this versus duplicating savory dishes. Pastry is a science. It's a chemical reaction to what you make. Some recipes you can double it, you can triple it. But when you start going quadrupling it and making it 5 times the amount of that recipe, that whole balance of that cake recipe or that dessert recipe changes, totally changes. So you really have to pay attention to what you do in desserts to make it
Chef.
work. Yeah.
Okay, is the question about tweaking the recipe or
Not tweaking, making sure that the ingredients is correct. Correct.
Okay, because my understanding in a restaurant, the only way you can be consistent is following the recipe. Because if you have 5 people tweaking a recipe, then the dishes are not going to be consistent. You know, that's a difference in, you know, making a larger quantity of food.
Don't forget that, don't forget that the restaurant itself is responsible, just listen to what I'm saying, is responsible because what they're going to be doing is probably for, say, 50 servings. That recipe is already tried and true for that person. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that recipe is made for that restaurant. You know, so you can make it in bulk form and be done for 2 days and then heating it up and adding some of the other stuff to go with it.
Okay.
But that restaurant should be responsible for that recipe.
Okay, the word tweaking to me means
Ad lib.
yes,
Ad lib.
or taken away. When you're at home, you can do that. But when you're in a restaurant setting, you're not supposed to do that because that alters the consistency of the taste and the consistency of the recipe. You know, like I said, if you got 5 people making that recipe differently, tweaking it, it's not going to be the same.
The wrong word, tweak. You picked it up on a good one because tweaking means making it happen and adding whatever you can to make it work. A recipe, when you follow a recipe, you should follow it to the T that the restaurant requires you to make it correct.
Exactly.
Exactly correct. And like I said, in science of making desserts, it's a science. It has to be chemically changed. That's why a lot of recipes, when you're making, say, I used to make 50 cheesecakes at one time to put them in the oven. 50. You know, you can't take one recipe of a cheesecake and duplicate it so you can make 50 of them. It has to be really made and thought through personally to make it work. Some things you can't, like my kolache recipe. I can only triple it. I cannot go more than tripling that recipe. Once I triple it, that bread's not going to rise as much as it is, and the flavor is not going to be the same. So it depends. If you triple it more than 3 times, it needs more time to proof. You understand what I'm talking about? So you have to make sure that maybe the yeast will have to change the amount, but the recipe will be given to you by the restaurant or the place that you're working at. How they want you to convey that recipe for consistency and making sure that when the people come back to that restaurant, that they have the same meal that they had 2 weeks ago when they came the first time and loved it.
Mm-hmm.
That has an awful lot to do with it, guys. So you have to really make sure that you have writing down how many people. So I just want you to understand, really understanding what the recipes call for and what the change is for making different things. You need to have all the ingredients and equipment involved in making your dishes in bulk. You also have to decide how much to charge for each item on the menu. Remember, each recipe that is brought in by that restaurant is costed out. Each item that is put in that recipe is costed out. And then the whole bulk of that recipe is divided into the portions that you're going to be serving at that restaurant. So if you're making enough meat or food for 50 people, it better be divided by 50, and then you will get the unit price of what that item cost. You've got to know where each item that you serve at that restaurant, what the item cost overall. Croissants, or anything that you make. The rice. What is it for chicken stock if you're going to use chicken stock versus water? What are the different things that you're going to be making in a restaurant that makes that recipe what it cost? Sometimes they call for shrimp and scallops. Those are pricey items. Things that you need to remember. Do we want to upscale the menu? Again, dollar amount, really important for you to be successful. And when you're at home and you're cooking for a small family or a family, you can add anything you want to sometimes in that recipe. Maybe not follow it to a T, but add the shrimp and the scallops to make different items. So it depends on each restaurant and following that recipe to a T. So make sure you decide on how much you charge for each item on the menu, which you can figure out by determining the cost on how to make it. Running a cafe and a restaurant can be labor of love, but you make a profit when you need to set up a business plan and adhere to it. Doesn't mean you're a tough boss. You have your goals, your restaurant has their goals, and they have to achieve it by cross-training, a big item that we talked about yesterday and the day before. Cross-training is one of the biggest factors of what we have to get done. Good morning, Anthony. Brand your establishment by understanding what sets it apart from the competition and get the word out about advertising and all marketing ways of doing it. Be aware that for a cafe, value-added amenities such as entertainment or internet access, that all costs money. So when you are advertising your restaurant or where you are, you can put a big star or a big thing on the side to let people know what you are doing. Music from 5 to 7. Another cha-ching factor, is it a cafe for people to come in and have a little bite or something like that? Or is it a full-fledged dining facility? Some people have music with a dining facility to make them enjoy where they are. Yes, they draw people in. People love the internet. They're always on the phone. They're always on the computer. To make sure. A lot of people do businesses. Go to a coffee shop and do their business for the day. They're salespeople. Yes, they draw people, but customers may stay longer if they like the price of a cup of joe. That's why maybe one of the main things that the coffee, what's that play? I just forgot it. People go and drawn to go there to get good cup of coffee and have an internet. They have some little breakfast items there too.
Starbucks.
Comfortable. What is it?
Starbucks.
Starbucks, thank you. I just thought about it. Set up business plan that includes the objective and the business of the mission to concept the cafe or the restaurant. Identify several key to success, such as maintaining high quality food. Number one, People will come back because you have high quality food. Not something that is thrown together in a takeaway box. How many times have you got a takeaway box when you've gone somewhere and it's all over the place, not taking the time to pay attention? Think about what you do when you're doing it. To impress people by taste, quality of food, and your demeanor. Management to inspire customer loyalty. How many people go back to the same restaurant that they always go back to? I know I do. If the food is good and it's clean and it's wonderful and the person is really, really nice, really makes you feel comfortable to come back because they make you feel like you're an important factor of that restaurant. Not only for quality of food, but the aura that you feel comfortable at. The coffee. Do you love coffee? I know I do. Do you like the best margarita in town? I'll tell you the best one because I love margaritas. What do you like? You like a beer, cold beer? A certain kind? Not every restaurant carries every beer. You have to specifically pick the people that you want to serve to. Identify key success, such as maintaining a high quality of food, coffee, customer service. Out of those, number one, besides quality of food. Set financial objectives and benchmarks. Create a menu targeted to the market and the cafe and the restaurant. Remember what I've said. Drive around the area that you want to go and get involved with. See what your competition is. Is it casual? Is it upscale? But if you're going to do it with thought. Remember the boxes that we talked about. The starters, just like this menu says. Don't make it a book. Don't make it so you have so much inventory. Cha-ching, to make it work. Do you have side orders? Do you cater to children? I'm going to tell you, children will dictate to you where you want to go or which restaurant their parents go to. If they love it. If they don't love it, you don't go there. Majority of the times, you go where the family wants to go. How many have found that out? Your partner. She'll always say, oh, no, let's go back there. And you'll say, well, I don't really care for it, but you do it to comfort the other person. How true is that? So you want to make sure that everything is taken care of. I'm writing names down. Good morning, Dahlia.
Good morning, Chef.
How are you? Good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
All right. Mia, good morning.
Good morning, Chef.
Can we see you? I'd love it.
The screen just turns gray when I turn on the camera.
Does it?
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Marcel, are you there? Nigel, are you there? Thank you. Roro, I know you're there. How was your grits yesterday? Didn't share them with us. I'm over it. She's not even near the speaker. Menu items can include brewed coffee, coffee-based beverages, smoothies, baked goods such as cookies, muffins, possible gelato or frozen yogurt. Casual and light breakfast, lunches, and dinner menus, such as salads, sandwiches, small plates, tapas. Does anybody know, guys, over here? What is the difference between a cafe? What are the requirements of a restaurant versus a cafe? Anybody know the difference? What is a cafe in general? Anybody know? And the difference in a restaurant?
A cafe is usually like a coffee shop, isn't it?
A little coffee shop, but they also have different
Like smaller
items.
bites.
Appetizers. Say that again.
They have smaller bites of food, like you said, appetizers.
Correct. But usually, guys, if you are going to be going to a coffee shop versus a restaurant, the serving size is a little bit bigger than a restaurant. Just a little bit bigger because that's all they've come in there to get for. So if you're going in there for, say, a dessert or a cup of coffee or a little drink to go with it, the serving size will always be around 5 to 6 ounces versus a serving size in a restaurant for a dessert is between 3 and 5. Did you all know that? Take that into consideration. So the serving size in a cafe is always a little bit larger than a restaurant because their item is not there for a whole meal. They're in there for little stuff that they can bite or enjoy while they're in there having a drink. And how many people really have a drink and have a sweet item that goes with it? Not every sweet item goes with a beer or a margarita. Got it? So you have to really think and plan that whole thing work out. Casual and light breakfast, lunches, dinners, menus, items such as salads, sandwiches, and small plates or tapas might be offered as well. So look at this menu. It's a little bit different. Bagel sandwiches, panini girls, salads. Everybody loves salads. You can eat it with the meat or you can eat it without the meat. You can eat it with the cheese, you can eat it without the cheese. What makes you comfortable to come and eat? What other items? You could have some breakfast items, some nice croissants. Now, for me, klobasnikis would be a good one. That's from my culture. A great breakfast. So there's certain different things that go into every different categories. Research your competition by staying ahead of the game. For the information or the format or brand message based on your advantages over competing establishment. Got to know what's around you guys. Walk around, think about it. Look at the display. Look at the area that you are, if they've hired a decorator. You might think you're the decorator. You may offer a wider menu, longer hours. If it's longer hours, more cha-ching. Better pricing. Or a trendier decor. You've got to have family and friends around that could help you decide on what the inside should be representing you. Or hire somebody by the hour to pay attention to the inside of what you can do and turn it over to your place, your envision. But then again, you can do it in segments. You could take care of the front of the house and slowly go towards the back. Not overpowering yourself and spending all of it in the front. Remember, the equipment in the back is probably one of the first priorities. Nobody sees it, but you've got to make your life a little bit better and easier. Not over the extraordinary dollar cha-ching. Don't go for the best stove in all the world unless you have somebody to help you back you up. Look at the first picture on the next, on your slide. Looks like a Starbucks cafe. How many people have gone into Starbucks and seen that every day? Every day. And that's because you've invested in that internet service for people to come there and use it. Business people. That's what that Starbucks or any Starbucks wants. People who drop off and come in there and turn their computers on and stay, because if they're going to drink that cup of coffee and that smell from that coffee or the oven coming, the muffins coming out of the oven, is going to make them get up and buy a muffin. Power of suggestion. That's what the internet really is. Power of what you smell. The surrounding. The person next to you could have had a croissant. The crunch that he bit into is the power of you going up there and getting another croissant. Don't even have to advertise. Just by putting it on the wall that you can get free web and free service in there. Pretty good. Word of mouth. Or you can give value-added amenities, providing a guitarist or a singer or certain evenings of the week. They're not cheap either. There's some form that has to be balanced out in where you are to make it work. If you can afford 3 times a week, it's great. If you can afford once a week, it would be great. Do you think that paying for a guide or a person to come and play in the beginning of the week is better than at the end of the week, because the end of the week is always busy? Think about your schedule. Think about how your restaurant works. When do we want to put the amenities in there to make that grow? It's a thought process. Developing a marketing plan uses various combined print advertising in form of newspaper and magazine ads. Where are you going to put it? The people that come to Starbucks, what magazines do they read? What other people are you attracting to come to that place? Brochures, direct mail, postcards. Do you think that really works sometimes? How many people get a mail and look at it and throw it in the trash when it's advertisement? You see what I'm talking about? Think about it, because it's a costly factor. I think sometimes those people with a board on them walk at the end of the street makes people come to the cafe. Making sure. Advertising. Trent, good morning. Trenton,
Morning, Chef.
how are you?
Not bad, and you?
A rough day yesterday?
Oh, we had to dig trenches.
Okay. For moving washer and dryers to trenches is a big difference.
Yep.
I think so. All right, are you here for the whole class, I hope?
I think so today. I don't know if we have work today.
Okay, well, I'd appreciate it if you could be here.
Yes, ma'am.
And I could like to see your face without the hat on.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, advertising in the form of newspaper and magazine ads, brochures, direct mail postcards and electric options, like emails and social networking sites, such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Do you think that makes a difference? Certain areas it does. What do you think is the best advertisement ever? The best? Anybody?
Social media.
Word of mouth has an awful lot. Somebody loves the way you do your food. And I'm going to tell you, if it's positive, it'll be everywhere. If it's negative, it's going to be double. Negativity always really takes over the positive. So try to make it all really positive instead of negative. You get what I'm saying? Because people talk about gossip. Goes around a lot faster than when somebody does an awful lot of good stuff for people, nothing is talked about. Do you all get what I'm saying? But if it's something negative, it goes around like a wildfire. Isn't that right, Matthew? Right? Train staff. And evaluate their performance to address any problems that they arise. Monitor the performance of the chef's sourcing, buying products for ingredients for food preparation and presentation. Training staff across train. Conduct a SWOT analysis from time to time to analyze strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For example, your location near a business district can be strength, but why overcrowding in the cafe is your weakness, because people want to come there and they're tired of waiting to sit down. For the business owner, it's not, I mean, it kind of tells you that you've got good food and people love to come there. Sometimes a lot of people expand. And when they expand too big, and then it gets into trouble. Sometimes small is better. And making sure people get there earlier to sit down. I go to a Cafe Java in Hutto. If anybody's been to Hutto, you understand what I'm saying. Or Round Rock, sorry. Right near the Randalls on Gaddis School Road. There's a line all the time to get into Cafe Java. Great food, great atmosphere. So it depends. For example, your location near a business district, it'd be the strength. Overcrowding in the cafe is a weakness. The opportunity to expand market share may develop if a competitor shuts down. Kind of sad on that end. On the other hand, the appearance of another cafe or restaurant in the area can represent a threat. What are they offering? As I would say, check it out. How to start a successful restaurant. You plan to start a restaurant, you need to sit down and draw up the plans and then your business plan. Here are some of the hints and a brief on how to get started. Guide to a point to the right direction. So you have ingredients you need to open your restaurant with confidence. Plan it out. While starting a restaurant is exciting, it is also time consuming. The days go by really fast too, guys, once you start. Business is successful launch. In fact, 50% of restaurants, like we talked about before, fail. We're not telling you to temper your passion, but merely pointing out, if you want to be a successful restaurant, you need to invest some serious time and money and think about it and surround yourself with people that have knowledge, people that you can acquire and learn from, or maybe what they did wrong or what they did right. Why do many restaurants fail? The biggest reason for failure is lack of planning. Fast. Think about your food truck. A lot of you want to do food trucks. Plan it inside and out. Before you ever make a dinner for the customer, you spend a lot of time figuring out the details of your restaurant, from kitchen appliances, menus, floors, plans, staff selections, and planning stages to make or break your restaurant. To help fund it, manage your new restaurant, we'll look for a couple of owners with their trade secrets. The next one, Shippy. Kim Setagi owns 3 successful restaurants in Philadelphia region, including Stella Blue, Lambrey, and the co-founder of Conina 214, a contemporary Mexican restaurant in Winter Park, Florida. Omar Obian, a co-founder of The Waffle, has 3 locations, 2 in Oregon and 1 in Portland. Making a business plan. There are tips of starting a successful restaurant. How about off the waffle? Have the right intentions. If you want to make it a restaurant owner, you have to love what you do. Number 1, love it, love it, love it. That's what I say. If you don't, it's going to be awful long days and awful long nights. You have to do something that's passionate for you. While she knew a restaurant was the right path for her, she had to work nights cleaning offices, buildings to make ends meet when she first opened her restaurant. Not a prima donna coming in. I wanted the restaurant more than anything else in life. So the sacrifices were endless. I never minded making them. So you as an individually can do what you want to do. To be successful, you invest a lot of time and money to make sure that the starting of a restaurant is your passion, not just a business venture you hope to make money. It is harder than you can imagine, but people do it all the time. It's not at all dreamy. In these early days, a good idea to figure out what you want in your restaurant to look like. What will be your restaurant's ethics? Ethics. With what furniture will you need to purchase to fit the theme? How will you lay your restaurant out to make it work? A lot has to do with figuring out what kind of environment you want to work in. What will make you feel the way you feel? It also doesn't hurt to have people in your life who have an eye for design. Remember what I said? You've met people in your life that you love the way they plan or the restaurant that you're in. If you love the restaurant that you go to, find out who did it for them. It might cost you a little money to investigate, but they might draw up a little plan for you to finish. Not their labor, but their plan or their thought process of what you want to express. A 3D model to plan a layout of the first location. And ultimately, they did most of the work to build out the space themselves. A planner, a designer. How do you want it to look like? Do you want it to be light? Do you want it to be dark inside? Do you want it to be open? Do you want it to be closed, meaning closed sections? A lot of different things come into play. Different things, meaning different people. Or there's one restaurant that you go to all the time, makes you feel homey. You can't scratch a business plan out of a cocktail napkin, but you need a detailed business plan that charts the course of your success. That said, we suggest beginning it with a lean plan that makes the business planning process simple. Think about your business plan as a living document that you can return to regularly to help plan the growth and measures your progress. Arian said that he really gets serious about his business plan when it came time to grow and expand to a new location. Sometimes, guys, moving to a new location too fast is too fast. You have to really get your first one down packed before you start another. People think too fast and grow too fast. Remember, bigger is not always better. Origins say they usually get serious about it when you get a business to expand to a new location. This helps them figure out what was feasible and figure out how to move forward. Your business plan should include markets research, comprehensive look at your competitors, inform on your target audience, and outline your marketing plan. Solid financial and budgeting project. As you think about what you want in your restaurant or look like, don't forget, keep an eye on industry trends. Would you say cupcakes are out, guys? What other kind of food? How about savory food? What kind of savory food is out? Anybody know? Anybody? I'm not so much in savory food as thing. Is really tapas in a lot? What is tacos in a lot? I know we have somebody with a taco truck coming along. Looking forward to it.
Taco, chef.
Are in?
Yes.
I'm right. I think Spanish food, no matter where you cook Spanish food or New Orleans food, is in. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a
And
culture.
Cajun.
It's an Asian. That's a very good point. This is a culture that we have in Austin. But you couldn't take this somewhere, probably in New England, to offer it because they don't even know what Mexican food looks like. Got it?
Really?
Yeah. It'd be a pretty hard sell over there. Mostly Italian. Italians are taking over they're all on the East Coast. Portuguese on the East Coast. Anybody been to Boston or New York or something like, New York, you can't consider that. You can't consider that because that's the whole world is in New York. Do you all agree with me? The whole world's restaurants are in New York, from one end to the other. But if you go to small towns like in Rhode Island or Massachusetts, and that part of Massachusetts, and then go up to New Hampshire, very kind of, I don't think that, I've had people from New England come here to visit and they never had Mexican food. So, it's that kind of thing that you have to really think about where you are, where you're going to do. But I think in Texas by itself, Mexican food, and I think food from New Orleans is very, very big. You all agree? Thumbs up?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anybody have any other preference? What about food truck for what else? Besides the sweets that I know Andre is making. He's doing a sweet truck, isn't he? Nope. Are you there? Andre. Good morning. He's got his picture up again.
But the answer is yes, he is chef.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any other kind of food that you like on a truck or anything? What do you want to show?
What about like beer garden, chef?
Good one, James. Good one. That's a great one here because remember Oktoberfest.
Yep.
Has anybody been to the New Braunfels Festival in October? Well, you better be going to New Braunfels if you want to have a good time. Great idea. How about West Fest, Labor Day weekend? Anybody been to a Czech festival? You better be going up there. Having some, if you love to dance, you like to drink, that's the place to be. And good food. So it is a hot day. I'm not going to tell you it's not hot. The tents are there. They got cool down for the tents. Go to these festivals. And if you're a food truck, I would investigate and see about where you could be. Because I'm telling you, there's thousands of people. How about Caldwell Kolache Festival? Anybody heard of Caldwell near A&M? Really popular. A lot of Czechs there too. I used to have a booth at the Caldwell. I used to do fundraising for a Czech group. And it wasn't for me to make the money, it was for me to donate. But I used to do 45 strudels and sell it by the piece. Each of them each of them was 15 pieces in a strudel. I was sold out in an hour and a half. The line was an hour and a half long. And we used to go home with $7,000 in 3 hours.
Oh.
And it was meant for the club. The money was meant for the club. That's what I'm talking about, Caldwell Kolache Festival. There's a lot of food trucks over there, guys. Investigate if that's what you're into. Because I do an awful lot of fundraising for other people to make it work. So pay attention to your marketing plan. You can only rely on the word of mouth and bring in so many customers as you need. A marketing plan is in place to keep new people streaming in through the front door. Yes, you need your steadies to keep coming back, but you also need new ones to keep it going. Good morning, Ivan. Glad to see you. Andre, where are you? Here are a few ideas.
I'm here, Chef.
Community events. Did you just see what I just said? And give out fruit samples. You've got to be careful because when you're giving out food samples, where do you have to cook the food? Somebody tell me. We talked about it.
Certified kitchen chef.
Thank you. Got to have a certified kitchen if you're giving out samples. Do you all get it?
Yeah, you said you could
rent
too.
one by the hour and get it done.
Right.
And do it at home and bring it by law. These cottage laws, I talked to you about already. If you want, after this class is over, I'll give you the papers on the cottage laws. How important is that? How much money can you make with cottage laws? That means making something and selling it someplace else in your truck. How much money? We talked about it the first week. Anybody remember? Or have you
You saved a bunch of money.
How much?
50,000.
How much?
Was it 50,000?
$50,000. Do you think that's chump change for you or is that money for you? And that's besides having your job.
Wait, Chef,
Yeah.
I kind of got lost. Okay, are you saying if you have a food truck, you still have to use a certified kitchen to give out samples?
Yep. You got to have the basic of what are you making for your food truck, honey? Is it Cajun food?
No food truck for me, catering.
Oh, you're in catering. Okay, totally different thing. Food truck, yes. You've got to have a mother shop. You've got to have a foundation before they let you do that, because you've got to cook the food to bring it there. Really?
Even if you have a food truck that have capabilities of cooking the food, you can't
get
get
your
a
food truck
food
certified.
truck?
Yeah, I think you can basically do that depending on what the menu is. If it's something that has to be made ahead of time, because if you're going to be working 2 people at a food truck and you're serving 200 people, there's sometimes no way you can cook all that food on that food truck.
Yeah, that's true.
Loretta, there's ways to go about getting a food truck certified as well.
Oh, is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, tell us about it a little bit.
I don't know the process, but I know you are able to get a food truck service. There's certain things you have to have and certain things you're not allowed to have, and so just stuff like that. There's certain hoops you have to jump
So
through.
there's certain things that you, in order, if you're going to do the food there, you've got to make sure that you're okay with being authorized for the paper that you signed to say that that's on that truck.
Like I know one of
Exactly.
like I know one of the requirements for a certified kitchen is a three-piece sink, you know, like little stuff like that.
A refrigerator.
A refrigerator, yeah, that's
And it varies by state also, because it's just through the health department, just like a regular kitchen. I mean,
yeah,
it varies by every state's got their own code.
Yeah, that's a good point. Louisiana could be different than Texas. I mean, even counties could probably even vary in that.
I bet you Texas is a lot stricter than all of them put together.
But Texas has their cottage food laws, which a lot of states don't have.
That's true, but the cottage laws, you have to, if you're making muffins to sell, you don't need a certified kitchen. If you're making a perishable, you've got to have a certified kitchen.
Yeah,
Correct.
my mom does cottage food. She does cookies and cakes and stuff. She can't do anything with like cut fruit because that's perishable or something.
That's right.
So.
That's right. But sometimes, you know what, with the cottage laws, though, if you are selling it somewhere and you have a refrigerator with a plug-in, because a lot of these farmers market have utilities that you can plug in, then you can have it. Did you know that? Delilah, did you know that?
I did not. I'm actually writing this down, Chef.
Yeah, you can, some of them have a plug-in unit that you can bring a freezer. If you're going to make a contract with them for a year, they'll bring in a plug-in for you and put a freezer in there so you can, or a refrigerator, so you can have things refrigerated. That's where some of the farmers market work, making it that way. But it's $50,000, guys. So it's a lot of money that you could be making yourself more accessible. Remember, if you could be at the farmer's market and then send them over to your restaurant or your cafe or anything like that, or your food truck. Come and see me. I'm going to be on this corner on these certain days to make sure that you can get what you want. If you like what you see what I'm making. See the difference? To understand it. Word of mouth. Taste, feel, touch, smell. That's the importance of cooking good, to making sure you understand that. To make it participate in community events really makes it big. Other discounts, new customers, join local business associations, socialize media channels, be at the right place at the right time. What about a magazine, the Austin Magazine? See if they would advertise, or you can put a small advertise in there and let people come to you and ask you. Put a bug in their head. This is your dream of what you want to do. Maybe they're doing a magazine on trucks or food trucks. Put your finger up there, put your hand up there and say, please, look at me.
Okay, Chef.
Don't look at you, if they don't look at you this week or this year or next year, but they might look at you the third year when you're still running. You all get what I'm saying? It never hurts to go ask.
One more question, Chef.
Sure.
Okay, so if you are participating in a community event, do you have to have a food truck to give out samples, or can you have like a tent?
You know, depending, what are you giving out for samples?
I'm just asking general questions. I really don't know what my end goal is.
It depends on what you're giving out for samples. That has a lot to do with it. Perishable, you gotta be careful again. So you might have a cooler right there next to your tent with ice. So if
Even
it's
still, even
Huh?
still, you can't make that. Like, so like my mom, she, like I said, she does like cookies and stuff. Like she couldn't do like candied apples, even if she had a cooler, it doesn't matter because they have to be prepared in a commercial kitchen. If you can prepare them in a commercial kitchen and then have like the refrigeration, then that's fine. But if you're preparing it in your home kitchen, it can't be perishable in any way.
Well, it's like doing a wedding show. I mean, I talk a lot because with being me in pastry, you cannot serve that cake at the cake show if it's not prepared in a certified kitchen. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's to the public. And it's not perishable. You can't do it. And by law. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be very careful. And then again, I'm going to tell you guys, I don't mean to say it, but people are so happy. You have to defend yourself an awful lot. And the word is, somebody tell me the other word. What am I doing?
CYA.
You're thinking.
Thinking.
What did you say, Matthew?
You gotta
CYA.
CYA.
Think.
All
Gotta
right.
think.
So
Because
she,
I'm gonna smack you all. Unlike those laughs. Think. If it's too good, it's too good. Do you get it? And people are really nasty sometimes. So the word is think.
so I just put a link on mobile vending for Austin, Texas. So if y'all want to look at it, it's about permitting HACCP and everything you need to know.
Mobile food.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So understanding with a restaurant, remember, anything that's perishable, and Delia is right. Anything perishable, you can't.
That's Callie, Chef.
Yeah, Chef. I think that was Callie.
Oh, was it Callie? I'm sorry, Callie. I didn't recognize your voice. You haven't said 2 words all morning, and that voice didn't come in.
She's
That's
been
okay.
talking all morning, Chef.
Look at that tail of that cat. So thank you.
Chef,
Okay.
Chef,
Yes.
can't you rent time in a certified kitchen? Aren't there places that it's like they're certified kitchens and you can go and be like, I just need 6 hours or 8 and rent by the day in certified kitchens?
That's right. And it's rent by the hour also. So
Okay.
what you do is make sure before you get in there, you mise en place everything. So that hour is constructive work. Do you know what I mean? Don't go there and bring your flour in, put it on the table, or your sugar, or your food, or your meat. Don't do it. Make sure you think about the money that you're spending an hour to make it work.
Right.
And then take all you want or cook what you want, and then you can leave. Correct. That's right. You can do it by the hour. Anybody else? Loretta, did you want to say something?
No, Chef, just listening.
Okay. So anybody that wants to rent it by the hour, it's a great way of doing it. Find a kitchen. Sometimes they have a refrigerator that you can store your stuff.
Hey,
You know,
Chef,
they
I got a
give you
question.
that. Pardon?
Wouldn't that like change a little bit because of how the world is now with the COVID stuff?
What would change? Renting a kitchen?
Like renting the kitchen and all that stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be more stricter. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think so. I think you just getting a permission, or you have to show that you are renting that place, and the person will tell the health department that you were renting that place as a certified kitchen.
Are you speaking like sanitation wise, Andre?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to mask up like everybody else.
It'd be sketchy going into the kitchen.
Oh, yes, but yes, I agree.
I think that burden of how strict it would actually kind of probably go back on the state or whoever's inspecting those kitchens. It'll probably fall back on them instead of the renter of the space is what I'd guess if it came down to that.
Well, majority of these kitchens that you rent are they're meant for, what they call it, they were built, some of them were built for people in restaurants to come and borrow their kitchen for an hour or 5 hours. Some of them have a minimum. Some of them says that you can work in there for 5 hours a week or 6 hours a week that you rent it for. And it's a contract. They might not want you to do 1 hour a day. But if you've been there long enough, they might go from 5 hours and then go down the list. So it depends on what you deal with the owner of the building that is renting the kitchen out. I know one place
Next week
that
will be in
has
the
5
90s.
kitchens. See that? I know somebody that has 5 kitchens that they rent out. That's how they live. And all of them have, and they have to correspond with the other people that rent the kitchen too, because you might not have 5 stoves. Gotta think about it. Not have 5 ovens. So they coordinate their time for when you're there. Has to be coordinated. Is that good for you, Andre?
Of course it is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen. If you
Hey, Callie.
if you learn to clean as you go from the time that you started our school, and that's what Escoffier requires, mise en place, and make sure you clean as you go, then when you get to the place that you're going to get to, hopefully when you go to pick it out, it's a clean place. It's not a dump. You get what I'm saying? So you need to go work somewhere where it is up to your standards of making that kitchen work. The health department will come and get them because they're going to be more stringent, like you said, on cleanliness to make sure that they have the right things to do. Okay, you need a spot to draw clouds and a potential of growth. Of course, you need a location to fit within your budget. That is one of the key words. It makes sense to take your time as you're looking for the right place. Make sure you want to do some research, finding out the starter up incubator spaces for restaurants. You can join in by initial cost, low that might come with mentorship opportunities. Whether you decide to rent a space or build from scratch, selecting a location is one of the biggest decisions you make as an owner. But you don't have to do a huge build out first. When Oren's ready to launch his off-the-wall waffles, he said he only had, how much money is that to get the business started? It's Sound Possibilities. $3,000. He says we found a bunch of hacks to make it work. We found a house was actually a commercial zone. So we were able to work in that same space, thinking it out, planning it out, starting out small. Oren's 3 locations on dedicated restaurant spaces and a good reminder, a small start. Only with 300,000 with a build out of your location. It's not like a house that you can just sell. It's not like a retained value, he says. You get sort of stuck with it. So it makes a sense to think of all the thought and test of a smaller scale version before taking a huge, expensive leap. Where do you want to do? Test your menus. Approach building your menus like an experiment. Having a dinner party featuring your proposed menu, where to ask the people for their honest feedback. That is one of the biggest things. Don't just invite your closest friends and family members you just love to taste of a certain dish, but customers won't pay if it ain't keen on their taste, and you won't be making any money. When you ask for feedback, consider using a method that allows anonymous comments so you can get people's honest reaction. I've been to a couple of those. Things that are honest and anonymous. Could be somebody that didn't want to tell you to hurt your feelings. Get a feedback from someplace else. Do the market research, visit the restaurants to get a good sense and appreciate pricing. Ern's Waffles are off the Waffles' first launch. There were only 2 items on the menu, Lier waffles and a glass of milk. Lier waffles is a Belgian treat made of yeast dough. I'm telling you, they're the best, and that's what I've always made. It's a recipe from my mom. With the yeast dough, Belgian pearl sugar, it gives the waffle a natural sweetness, and it can just eat as you go, with no needs of topping. He tested a lot of different ideas, including folding the ingredients into waffle dough and stuffing waffles like a pita chip. So they moved on to interesting waffle toppings, and people loved it. Different way of expressing. Hire essential help. How many people do you need to staff? Remember, we talked about utilizing your staff when you're putting it in a restaurant. Cross-train. Think about what is going across. Some restaurant pros advocate bringing on a manager prior to the opening day and think through the biggest needs. Do you need a dishwasher? How many cooks? What about servers? Take your time as you hire staff. Consider doing a soft opening so you can see how things run smoothly. What is it? Anybody know what a soft opening is? Anybody? Have any of you been to a soft opening? How many hands go up?
It's just an introduction to the restaurant.
Do you advertise it?
Normally not much.
Usually like on a list, and it's just like family and friends.
Things to kind of have an overall picture of what you are at. You don't advertise it, and it's people really by invitation only before the big extravaganza. Then you kind of have an idea of what you're going to be doing. They scale it up slowly, and they're around 50 people, around 50 employees. Well, launched the first restaurant. The only employees were family. They scaled up slowly, and now they have 50 employees working in 3 locations. When we started, we were all newbies, so we were hired too quickly, so we had trouble paying people a salary that would have brought in people with enough skills to make up the inexperience. Over time, we've learned to do a lot of roles. And now he says he's opened a 4th location with a natural progression to hire a manager right off the bat. It is better positioned to be able to train them well. Invest training in your employees. Very good investment. Make sure that you have employees training materials already. Create job descriptions. Really important, guys, when you're going in for a job. If you're going in for a job, make sure that when you get hired, you have a job description to know what you're supposed to do, not ad lib. Then you know that the company, when they have a job description of what you're supposed to do, have really got their stuff together. Really knowing that. What about codes of conduct? Sometimes people in the kitchen get off the handle fast. Temperamental. I've known some people get hurt. Create a training guide so employees are well prepared for their respective positions. Document recipes for your cookbook So every meal is made to perfection. In other words, give the employees all the necessary tools to succeed. Be willing to fill in where it's needed. As an owner, you can't have an ego. Oh my gosh, no. If your idea of owning a restaurant is working around it in a pretty dress and makeup and nice slacks and shirt and tie, asking customers, what do you think of the food? You'll be in for a big surprise. You are willing to do every job from chopping vegetables to seating customers. You'll have to fill in from time to time. I've seen owners or the general manager or the chef wash dishes. That's where it needs to be. Just because you own that, you think that you're there. I know some chefs that don't do anything except direct from the office. Some of the places I've worked, and leave it for their staff. What's your labor cost? Remember, we talked about that yesterday. Urge to hire and hire and hire. Make your life easier. It makes your life more difficult because you've got to pay much more to chain. We'll probably need to hire some staff to make your restaurant a success. Don't go overboard. Paying employees can be distraught, especially for the first few months when you're not making a lot of money. It is not always easy to figure out how many staff to hire and the right amount of staff. So it's a tough to plan, for it is a seasonal or have a spontaneous business. But you don't want people on the clock if you don't have the business. You can't afford it. Think. One word that I want you to use before you leave this class, these 6 weeks. Think and be fair to yourself. So we are going to take a 15-minute break, but make sure you think about what you do. See you in 15 minutes. Well, let me look at the time. It's 7. How about 7:30? A little bit less than 15 minutes.
Chef, have you ever owned a restaurant?
Yeah.
You have?
I didn't own a restaurant. I owned a bakery. And I paid for it in 4 months.
Wow.
Everything that I had in there. I was sold out every day. I'm very blessed. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's, I mean, I'm not going to tell you I wasn't there from 4 in the morning to midnight every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only 2 people working. But we were sold out every day.
You and 2 other people, or just you and
Me
one
and
other
another
person?
person.
Yeah. So you no longer own it?
Oh, no. No, I went to really, you know what, for me, owning a bakery, I had it, I sold it, but I'm more of a caterer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't do catering in there, so I'm more of a hands-on, and I'm not saying this to be tacky, but a leader to motivate people to do something with themselves and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Than being self in a bakery. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. I get it.
I'm a people person, and owning a bakery, you got to be a people person, guys. Don't misunderstand me, because but I love the bustle, I love the stress, and I love wowing people.
Yeah.
And bakery, you can wow them, but you can't wow them the way you can when you're catering.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, that is my world, because I was at the Westwood Country Club for 11 years. And I was at Lakeway Resort. I'm an 11-year kind of girl. 11 years at Lakeway Resort. Or 12 years, really. And I was executive sous chef and pastry chef with Chef Miguel.
Okay.
And so, yeah, and then, so then the school called me. And I've been very fortunate because in my life, because I've never had to go for a job. They came to me to find me. So I'm very fortunate for that. Very
Yeah.
lucky. Very lucky.
Right. So, Chef, to open a restaurant with one product and a glass of milk, that had to be a pretty good product.
Oh yeah, it is a fabulous recipe. I promise you. I know exactly what he's talking about.
That was pretty good.
That's my husband's favorite, but the only thing is it takes time to make it because of the yeast rising. It's not one of these things that you can just get out of the box and pour. It doesn't work that way. You've got to put a yeast in it, and then you've got to let it rise, and then you put it in the waffle, and then it really builds up, and it's like light as a feather. And you can have it as a snack, or you can have it as a waffle. It's really a good project. I've never had theirs, but
okay.
but
I'm asking about him in particular. Has he added other items to his menu, or?
oh, I'm sure. I'm like he just now said, waffle cones with ice cream in it. It's one of those things that once he started opening, remember he only had so much money to open. And once he opened and conquered that, remember he could grow a little bit better. Yeah. It's a thing that you don't overpower yourself with so much stress that you're going to pay back, that you won't sleep at night. So that's one of the things that you have to consider.
Okay.
Thank you for talking and asking. I love questions. I love to think, because everybody has something to say, and everybody, it's something that makes the world go round.
Right.
But Chef, I'ma definitely need those recipes.
Say that again.
So I definitely need some cookie recipes. You feel me?
Yep. So I know, Andre, I'm going to give you those recipes you want.
That's why I love you, Chef.
Oh, you don't love me, honey. You don't even show me your face.
Chef, you want to see my face?
No, I don't want to see your face. Not now. Not now. No. I'm not getting bribed. You're a mess.
She said she doesn't want to see your face, Dre.
Whatever, Callie. Leave me alone.
She is.
Yeah, hey, Andre, look at me. Andre, look at me.
I'm looking. I see you.
Over it. She's over it.
Yeah. Callie just want to see my face.
I don't want to see your face either.
Whatever, Callie. You don't even miss me.
But anyway, it's a good day today. I'm going to go to Waco today. So it'll be an interesting ride. Callie, are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling great, Chef.
Oh, good. Still crocheting?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
You love it?
I love it more than anything.
Yeah, I love reading. And I'm at the last chapter, and I just want you to know that you are more important than this last chapter of this book right now that's driving me insane of what's going to happen.
Do you want to see some of my stuffed animals? I can show you.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. Show me.
Okay. So it's a unicorn.
Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. That's a big one.
Yeah, he's a big one. Oh, this is a little fox.
Wow, how cute. Those are pretty big. Do you sell them?
I do craft fairs. This is a bear.
Wow,
That
that's
is
beautiful.
so cute.
It is. Did you
this
get
is
that
a
book yet? Oh, look at that lamb. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
This is a little shark.
Yeah, I like the lamb.
Oh, there's a T-Rex.
Mike, you've got a lot.
I do. Let's see. This is one of my narwhals.
Cute. Boy, you've got a lot. Do people
Oh,
order
yeah.
them? Do people order
Usually I just make what I want to make and then I do craft fairs and such. It's a popsicle.
them? Yeah, really cute. Look.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I do with all my time. Oh, this is my last one. This is the octopus.
Did you know? Oh, we learned yesterday about an octopus. What did we learn about an octopus yesterday? James,
Got 3 hearts.
what else? Blue blood.
Oh yeah, blue blood. That's right. Yep, that's right.
See, I didn't know that till now. We just see what I mean? You learn something every day.
Blue blood.
Yeah. I know. What a good day. All been busy? Some of you been working? Dahlia, have you been working?
No, chef.
Just staying home? That's okay.
Yeah,
It's really nice to have the class in the morning, isn't it?
I like it. I'm up early anyways.
Yeah, I'm up early too. I'm an early person myself. Ivan, how are you doing? Playing guitar? You love music?
I do. This is what I would do if I wasn't going for culinary.
Really?
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of chefs do music, so there's a lot of places that cook during the day. I mean, and then go and play.
I've been thinking about that. I actually used to work with a guy who did something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? I mean, Austin is live music capital of the world.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Is that
here.
why you came to? Is that why you came to Austin, or is it because of cooking?
Well, I really came because of family. Like, I moved here when I was like 13 with my parents, so I didn't really have a
Oh, okay.
choice, but definitely both music and cooking. Big here.
Yeah.
I really want to get to New Orleans though. I feel like that's
what you want to do.
that's where I want to be.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, I love New Orleans. I don't want to live there, but it's a great place to visit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's probably depending on the culture that you're brought up on, you know, and make things work.
Yeah. I can make it work there.
Yep. Well, I wish you all the best with that music thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody
play
have
something, bro.
anything?
I even play something, G.
You want to hear me, Andre?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll give you a minute.
Swag. Nice.
Wow, you are talented. You are
That's how you.
talented.
That's how you start the
That's
day,
awesome.
bro.
That is awesome.
you start
That's what
the
we
day.
need- That's how we need to start class with.
Hey,
With
listen,
you.
Ivan, you should make a deal with all these food truck guys and come and their restaurants and go work and cook in one place and then go to all these people that are opening these restaurants and work and play there.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Actually, I'm surprised I never thought about that.
Of course not. No, it's only good. It's good. But that would be a great thing for you. Have you tried American Idol to go on that?
No.
You haven't done that? Are you too bashful?
Am I too what?
Are you bashful? Bash. Shy.
Oh, I thought you were saying fashionable. I was like,
No, bashful. Bash.
bashful. No, I could probably do it if I wanted, but I don't know. I don't
Don't have
think
the
that's
guts?
the light that I want.
Oh, you don't want a popular life. I mean, you want to be popular, but you don't want to be that popular.
I don't want to be American Idol popular. Yeah.
No, okay, I agree. That's the way I feel about cooking. Do you know that? I don't want to be in the spotlight. I just love to be in the background. I'd rather have somebody else take the credit for something and me stand behind and make sure that they bloom and not me. You get it? And that's the way in my life, I've always wanted to do that. I never be in the forerunner to say I. Remember the word is what? Who's gonna say it? We. Remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Securing funding and managing your cash flow. Everybody come on. Trent, are you there? Woo! Gotta keep an eye on you. Roro, back.
Yes, ma'am.
You better be there.
I'm here. I just had the thing off.
I haven't seen you.
Oh, well, fine. All right.
I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi.
And stay on. Anthony,
Yes,
can you get on? Matthew? Mia, can you get on? You were lying down, weren't you? Yes. Okay. Victoria,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad you're here. You haven't been here all morning.
Yes, me too. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, we're up to 21, Chevy. All right, paying attention. Securing funding and manage your cash flow. Generate startup capital. How important is that? Make sure you know how much money you need to get a restaurant off the ground the way you want to interpret it. You need 3 pools of money. The first pool is one-time cost for the equipment. The second pool is to cover the restaurant's expenses for at least 6 months. 6 months. That's every 4 weeks. Cha-ching. When you say a month, it seems like a long time. How fast do weeks go by now? Anybody know?
Fast.
How fast? Really fast, doesn't it?
Up and over.
That's right. So when you say tomorrow, and you keep saying that 5 times, what happens? That week is gone. So that tomorrow better be today. The second pool covers the restaurant for at least 6 months. The third pool covers your personal bills for at least 6 months. You want to have at least 6 months of cushion so you can probably find your expense outpack your revenue for at least that long. Think about it.
Chef,
Yeah.
isn't the first year like your trial run? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really
First year
base.
is the toughest.
Yeah, it's like the trial, right? Like,
Correct.
Because you're not gonna really get like a baseline until that first year, you know. So.
Well, you know, if you're doing a food truck,
Yeah.
I think you can control it a lot better than you can in a restaurant because you don't have to have the restaurant, you don't have to have the electricity. Yeah, you do have to have the food truck, but it's not as big as the electricity of the running of the air conditioner, the running of the stove, the stoves compared to one stove on a food truck. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Cost of a restaurant is so much different than a food truck.
Right. And I also know that.
Yeah, buying the initial investment of a food truck is expensive. But then again, don't forget, you can rent to see if that's the venue you want to go to.
Right.
That for me would be probably, if somebody's selling a food truck and you really like it, and you could say to them, let's make a deal and I rent it from you for 2 months to make it work. And after that 2 months, you'll know in your decision how much money or income you're making to make it, that's the way you want to go. If that might not be the way you want to go, and then you've worked that food truck to pay enough for the food truck and you a little bit of yours, you'll know right away where you are. Go to these festivals. Austin is so full of festivals and stuff. Market yourself at these places that you can make $1. Instead of going back to a food truck, what they call it, camp or park. Think about it. Yesterday I was on my way to Fredericksburg, I told you. And what blew me away on the road there, the gas stations that you have on the side of the road on the way in Dripping Springs? In Dripping Springs, there was Salt Lick with a trailer in a parking lot selling barbecue. I would have never thought Salt Lick would have come out of their venue, their restaurants, because people are not going to them, and getting out of a trailer and selling it. The smoker was there, the camper was there, and the tent was there. Salt Lick. I went further down, guess what? Blacks was there. Then there was a farmer's market further down. People are coming out to make things work. That's what it does. That's the really farm to table. And Austin has so much to offer in that aspect, that it is more open for really farm to table. We are farm to table. We want to get back the people that live in Austin have a yearning for fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, have a yearning. They go to Whole Foods, cha-ching. H-E-B's got on the wagon also. Fresh fruit, gone into farm to table. All the commercials on TV. What is it? Come and eat at my garden. An H-E-B buying from farmers. The world needs that. America needs that to understand, to us to survive by ourselves. And supporting them. What do you do to support the people around you? Just go to the grocery store, pick it up? So there's different things that you have to pay attention to. Miller Market has farm to table stuff. People are there selling, trying to make a living. They've grown their vegetables. A lot of people grow them, can them, and then sell the canning. That's going to be a thing that this whole epidemic really brings back. Good food, healthy food, and in essence of farm to table. Supporting the people around us, no matter where we are. Carolina, North Carolina. How about New Orleans? Robert, where are you now?
I'm in North Texas.
Another one. Where are we all from? Amarillo. Any place else? What do we have to offer? Our surroundings. And you know what? People are going to prone to go to places and eat at places that support them. And you support the restaurants that make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a lot of places, but Austin is a totally different world in regards to the food industry.
Totally
I've
different.
never seen anything like it.
Totally different world, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Why?
Fresh.
What is the key word or the key? I'm going to say the key word. What is the key word in Austin? Anybody know? Talk to me.
Fresh, farm to table.
Weird.
Weird. Farm to table. What else?
I think freshness is, very important here.
You haven't come across it yet.
Live?
Who said what?
Live?
Live? No, we ain't doing no live demos. No, I'm kidding.
Organic,
What?
healthy, organic.
Organic? Nope. You all haven't hit it yet. Anybody else? Matthew, what do you have?
Chef, I'm from
I
Austin.
don't know. Last time y'all laughed at me.
We don't laugh at you. Matthew, we love you. Okay, James, you have another word for it? How about Delia? Do you have a name?
Fresh?
I was gonna go with weird with the whole keep Austin weird thing.
Oh, Kimberly, tell me.
No, because everything I was thinking was said. Like fresh, weird.
Marcus.
Chef, you got your own kind of keywords here. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, I have some keywords, no, but when I say this word, you're gonna go, oh, yes. You know what the word is?
Tell us, Chef.
Artesian.
No.
What is artesian in Austin? Made with hands. Got it?
Chef, I would have never got it.
Well, thank God you could admit to that one, Roro. But how true is that? Austin people want freshness. They want the artesian way of making stuff.
So like
Artesian way of making bread. All the bread places, what do they use? Artesian bread.
How do you even spell that?
Huh?
How do you spell that?
How do you spell it?
Yeah, like how do you
A-R-T. And then, now you're asking a Czech to spell? Now that's a,
Hey, I tried talk to text. I'm trying to Google it.
it's art. What is it, Chef? A-R-T-I-T-I-A-N? A-R-T-I-C-I-A-N? Artesian? What is it, Chef Cliff?
ARTESIAN. Is that right? No. Well, I'm
ARTISAN.
Yep, that's what
And there, what is Tammy doing here?
Hey, chefs.
Good
She's
morning.
reviewing us. Hi, Chef Tammy.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
We're doing great. I don't know about, where are you? Are you at home? I hope so. I'm kidding.
Hi.
You doing good?
I'm in my bat cave.
Are you?
Yeah, like y'all are.
All right. You're looking good.
Oh, thank you. I fluffed.
Okay. You slept? What can we do for you?
I'm just watching, Chef. I'm observing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
But
you.
anyway, so did you hear what I just said? So understanding what Austin culture is all about. Planning to lose money for the first 6 months? It's always a possibility. Restaurants aren't profitable overnight. It takes a lot of work and trial to get people to come back. Some say they shouldn't plan on making money for the first 6 months. But if you span it correctly and you make sure that people are aware of where you are to make it work. Make sure also you plan for the bumps in the road. Is life ever straight? Anything you do, is life ever straight? No. There's always something that's going to come up to make you the word what?
Stronger?
Ro. Yeah, who said that?
Roro.
You.
Oh,
You're gonna know that word, I guarantee you, by the time this 6 weeks are up. Right? So make sure we're ready for the bump in the road, and any of us can take care of that. Any of us. And make sure that that's what we want to come and get to learn. So it's easy to go over the budget for the first starting out. Remember, it's new, exciting for a restaurant. And then you have some additional money to cover unexpected. What happens? The water heater goes, or the stove needs fixing, or the oven. God bless if the oven didn't work or the stove. Got to be open to make money, cha-ching. If you're not sure about how to do this, consider a business line of credit. Remember, don't overdo it. Think smart on how you're going to be doing it. Bump in the roads make victories a much sweeter way of doing it. When do you hit a bump? Evaluate the numbers of your progress. For example, when she first opened her restaurant, Corvina 214, she realized her food cost was too high. She called her vendors and switched from 5-day delivery schedule to a 2 days delivery schedule. Why do you think she did that? Anybody can tell me? Why?
Make it work.
Make it work and control over what she has to make it. Remember what we said in the first couple of weeks is to control what you have every day to know where you stand. How many items you sold? How much was your cost factor? How much was your labor? Make sure you are in control. Because if you lose control, you've lost everything. Making it understand and work. Doesn't mean you are a thumb person to hold it down, but you do need to know it's your money. She called for her vendors to switch it from 5 days to 2 days. She saved money. Why do you think that going from 5 days to 2 days, the truck that comes to you just because he brings you the food costs you money on top of what you're ordering? Did you all know that? That truck is not free. Nothing is free. She saved the money because she was investigating the problem of looking for a solution. What was her
Sorry,
solution?
my internet went down. My
That's all
apologies.
right. No problem. What's your food cost? Remember what we said at the end of the day, knowing what you have. If your food cost is out of line and you end up losing money, make sure that you keep track of your inventory. Prepare foods well, avoid waste, and keep prices competitive. If you're going to be charging $15.95 for your meal and person down the street is $10.95, where do you think the customer a lot of the time is going to go? Down the street. Think. What is the bottom dollar that you can make an item with quality ingredients to sell yourself? Keep marketing. You don't depend on repeat customers, so you need to keep your marketing efforts up and review streams and that thin out. People can't come every day to the same restaurant. I know there's some people that do. I do, to go to Cafe Java, but a lot of people come there to eat once a week or maybe even twice a week. But you can't depend on it all the time. You've got to be other venues to go out to bring other people in to eat what you love to do best and display what you love to do best. Establish a strong social media presence. Try an ad in your local paper. Where do you put the ad? Where does your clientele like to read from? The front of the newspaper or the back? Keep it up or ask for advice. Where's the best place to put it? Calculating food cost and minimum menu pricing. Wow, that's a thought. The chef needs to really think, what is I'm not going to say the cheapest way, because sometimes the cheapest way is not the smartest way to do it, because quality ingredients cost money. Remember that. And your whole goal is to serve quality ingredients when you're making different things. On the next slides, you will begin to visit how to calculate food cost of a dish. Step 1, list every item of the dish. That includes the sauces, the seasoning, the garnish, and even a single parsley leaf. You can write this down, or when you go back and record and look at the recording of what it is. How to itemize each section of doing pricing. Anything. Savory, desserts, anything. Remember what the menu is. Plays on different things. Single parsley leaf or a sprinkling of salt. Everything is considered. Step 2, calculate the cost of each ingredient. If you get 8 tomato slices out of 1 tomato, your cost is 40 cents. Then it costs 5 cents for each slice. That's how you break it down to the nitty-gritty to know where you are. So you use a single slice of a tomato for 1 recipe. Remember the cost of the tomato. What kind of tomato are you using? Has another alternative. Every tomato is a different price. Heirloom tomatoes, expensive. But what? A taste factor involved. Where do we want? Remember, we're talking about quality ingredients. How about step 3? Add together the cost of each ingredient. Do not include labor cost. All we're wanting to know is the cost of the item that we're going to be making. Of the menu item. How to calculate food cost per meal.
Chef,
Yeah.
I have a question because this plays into our project.
Correct.
Yes. When we're costing out our recipes,
correct,
for our, each item, how many servings are we making? Are we making 1 serving?
For that item for your restaurant? I'm going to say, Chef Cliff, would you say about an item of 4 items, 4 people?
No, we're costing out the recipe just for 1 item. I just want to know how much it costs to make 1 dish, because it doesn't matter how much, and you could cost out the recipe for 100, but I just want to know how much it is for 1 item, because you're only selling 1 item. We need to know how much salt it takes to season those tomatoes or whatever else.
Okay,
so we're only doing it for 1 item, 1 serving, 1 serving.
I understand 1 serving, but okay, so if you're going to do it's on the average is between 6 ounces for a serving of meat, correct? Correct? Chef?
Yes.
6 ounces for meat, and how many would you say for an ounce? 3 ounces for potatoes. If they're going to use potatoes, logically look at the overall picture of what you're serving.
Yeah, you need to balance. Yes, you need to balance.
And a chicken breast, how much of that say 6 ounces of chicken breast is, correct?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you just need to do for 1 serving. Like, what is the cost of a chicken sandwich? Because that's what we're selling is 1 chicken sandwich. So I need to know how much it costs for me to make that 1 chicken sandwich.
Okay. All right.
So are you confused?
Yeah, 1 serving.
No, I'm just thinking about myself and catering. How am I gonna? But I'll work it out.
No, but you know what you do though?
I'll work with you.
Loretta, listen. When you're going to be doing it for catering, you can do an item for say 10 people and then divide that by the amount of people that you're going to be there for the cost factor. So if you're cooking for 12 people, I'm just talking. If you take it that and you divide it by 12, and then each of those items that you've costed out for that recipe for 12 units, do you understand what I'm trying to say? And then divided by the amount of people that are coming. That's basically breaking it down to the whole overall picture. By taking every step that you're going to be doing and divided by the amount of people that you're making it for.
So if you have a serving for 4 people, just divide it by 4 and you'll get that 1 serving per person.
That's correct. That's what I said. That's why I like to make it on the average of 4 and then divide it by 4.
When you input it on the costing sheet, Renisha, it should give you like the cost per item.
Per item, correct.
For one item.
Yeah. And don't forget, meat is always a serving size between 6 and 8 ounces. So if you want to upscale it to 8 ounces, then your cost of your menu is going to be higher because of the meat price. Do you get what I'm saying? But the average serving size is 6 ounces. Everybody get that? I want a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, got it? Got it? Roro, I need to see that finger or that thumb, sorry.
But is the cost of the ingredients on one of the tabs on the Excel sheet?
Yes.
Okay.
They should be all there. And if not, you can just go look at your pricing on the internet. There's a lot of places that you could go to, an HEB or whatever, and have it. And that way you can kind of look at the prices of what everything is priced at to make sure what you get to, you know, to understand. But anybody else, Delia, do you understand? Got it? It's a pretty easy way of doing it, but make sure, guys, you really, this is the important factor of getting the right amount or the right dollar amount for what your return is going to be. Do you know? And then after what it costs, we're going to be talking about how to price it. The different ways of pricing an item to make sure that you get your money back to get it done. So multiply the food cost by 3. For most restaurants, the food costs are about 1/3 of all the operating cost. 1/3 by 3 of all the operation costs. This is a minimum menu price you can need to charge your profit. Multiplied by 3. Determine menu prices. Your minimum menu price is how much you have to charge to make the item worthwhile. But you may be able to charge more. Remember what we talked about, different items in a showcase, or if you are selling something. You balance out your whole restaurant according to what you have. Some items are cheaper to make versus other items. Balance it out. You might need to carry one item that costs more money to make. And then the one to make because the customers are coming in to buy it. But when they're there, they're ordering something else also to balance it all out. Do you all understand what I'm saying? So there's certain things that cost more money. Reality check. What is your computer what is your competitors charging? Walk around again, guys, look. How much do you have to make it worthwhile for you? By understanding your competitors charge for similar items, you can gauge the menu price for the community will accept. You don't want to overcharge or undercharge. You want to make a profit, but you don't want to scare off business by price gouging. There are numbers of sites that you can use to reduce a fastfoodmenuprices.com that lists the item price for several restaurant chains. How do you price your menu? It all comes down to math. How many people are good at math? You better tune in, because that's going to make you or break you to make it work. Writing a menu is fun part of opening a new restaurant. You can play around with terms and different foods together to see what it looks like together. But designing the menu can complicate, as well as how to set prices can be particularly hard to understand. How do you know how much to charge when you can make sure to make a profit? Food costs, the portion control are two things that will help to price your menu correctly. But be careful not to price yourself out of the local market. Another way to ensure a profit is to create a balance of expenditures and in-expenditures items. There are some items, guys, that you can have on a menu that nobody ever goes into. How many times have you seen an executive chef say, oh my God, today's another day, and it didn't go through? Nobody bought it. It's just living on the shelf. James, have you come across that at the restaurant?
Carrot hummus. It was a special at our restaurant. We didn't sell a single plate.
That's right.
And it was, I felt bad for our chef because he was really proud of it. It was this black carrot hummus. We made black tahini from scratch with black sesame seed and everything, and with these purple carrots, and it was this black carrot hummus, and it literally didn't sell a single plate. It was embarrassing.
Sad.
Yeah, felt bad for him.
Yeah.
And it was
Now
a good.
again,
Didn't sell.
I'm just so glad that you felt his pain.
Yeah, because he was embarrassed. As a chef, that is kind of embarrassing to come up with this special and then all of a sudden, you don't sell a single plate. That sucks. But
yep,
it wasn't, and that's what's one thing. It was a really good dish. It was a pretty dish, but explaining that on a menu was really tough. Like the menu,
hard to explain for a visual picture.
He didn't paint a good job when he explained the dish on the menu, and just the sound of black carrot hummus, that's a tough sell on its own, because not everyone likes carrots, not everyone likes hummus, and then all of a sudden, if you don't have a good description, I just don't think and your front of house, you don't coach your front of house to sell it very well.
And listen, and the adjectives that you didn't use.
Right, exactly. Yeah, good point. Yeah. So.
You know what I mean? So if you use some adjectives that were really, really nice, then it makes a difference.
Yeah.
So that's really important. Your focus on your restaurant should be on your gross profit margin percentage. It's what you want left over, and you've met all your restaurant expenses. The most surefire way to calculate this percentage is to be sure that you don't miss anything or divide the expenses into 3 categories: food, beverage costs, wages, and salary, and occupancy. Ideally, you spend 30% of your profit on food and beverage cost, but in no case more than 35%. Labor costs should be taken up with another 30%. And your building, including insurance, taxes, permits, addition to mortgage or rent, should come in about 20%. If you keep close to those numbers, you will realize the profit is 20%, which should make your goal. You might think you could increase this by pushing the menu prices up, but what you might end up doing is pushing customers out the door. So make sure that we logically keep them coming back. The food cost prefers to be a menu item person for a certain dish in comparison to the cost of the food used to prepare that dish. In other words, how much you pay for food determines on how much you charge your customers for it. Ideally, food costs should be in the neighborhood for 30 to 35%. In other words, if you pay $1 for something, you should charge a minimum of $3.35. Restaurants have a tougher job in trying to calculate food cost. Hotels and country clubs don't have to be in that 30 to 35%. Ideally, it would be great. Why do you think that hotels and country clubs is a different species? Anybody have an idea?
Because the bigger profit makers are from other sources like living.
That's correct. They have more venue coming in, more banquets coming in. Country clubs charge to be in that country club. Some of the food cost that was at my country club at Westwood was 55%. But they were charging $10,000 a year for them to be a member. If they didn't use that money every month, guess what? They lost it. That money goes back into the kitty. And that's when you can upscale your food to serve what they want. Same way in a little bit of hotels. If the hotel is really, really busy, it's a dream number to do whatever you takes to make it happen. Holidays. How many people come for Thanksgiving dinner? How many people come for our Easter? Come for dinner with their families. Upscaling it out of the world. Not worrying about a budget. To understand, it seems likely you're changing a lot more than it's necessary. But keep in mind that you aren't just paying for the food itself. You're paying for somebody to prepare it and serve it and to clean up afterwards. You're paying for the building in which the customers are dining in, all additions to actual food cost. Everything in your restaurant, from payroll to electric bill, can be covered by food you serve. Don't look at the typical menu items that may resent a restaurant offers, a filet mignon dinner. How do you want to serve it? What do we have? The basic equation begins with calculating how much you prepare the dinner and it's going to cost you to serve it, including ingredients, staff costs, and occupancy. The total amount cost of a dinner can be broken down in two areas. The beef fillet costs us $6 a portion. The wrap, the potato, the vegetable, the salad, the bread comes to with the fillet, as well as any other condiments. Cost $2.50. Therefore, the entire meals cost you $8.50. Then you add the staff, the occupancy, and you might be up to $16 for that menu item. $16. So now subtract this from a proposal menu price and divide the result of the menu price. Let's say you've chosen a menu price of $25. The equation will look like this. $25 minus $16 equals $9. $9 divided by 25 equals 36%. 36%.
Does everybody see how that's calculated?
I'm going to leave it right there. So the total menu price of the item that you're making is 25%. $25, sorry. 25 divided by the cost of the item is your charge. You want to charge $25. You take the $16 for the total of labor, food, and you divide it. I mean, you subtract it. You equals to 9. You take that $9 and you divide it by 25 because you're charging them $25. Do you all get what I'm saying? Equals to 36%. Everybody understand it? I want that thumb up if you do, and if you don't, let me know. Roro, are you okay? Take a picture of it. Enables you to do what you need to get done. Victoria, are you there? Mia,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I need you to be there. I need you to be there.
I'm here.
Okay. I'm keeping an eye on you.
Hmm.
Okay. Your gross profit margin on this item would be perfectly reasonable at 32%. And the difference in price might lure other customers into the door. Psychology matters just as much as exact numbers do. Gross profit margin. I'm going to go back to this. Sorry. Write it down. Go back, Sheppy. One more. One more. That one. I want them to really write it down on a piece of paper. So when you're doing your menu items, you'll get it. How do we get that? So go up one more, Chef. The basic equation. The next one up. Yep. How do we get that? Your beef price, portion price is $6. The condiment price is $2.50. When you do the whole total up of that is $6, $8.50. Then you add your staff and occupancy cost is $16. Up to $16. When you add in all the other, because you're adding the other $8 or $7.50.
Chef,
Yeah.
do you calculate in utensils as well into the item cost?
No, because the utensils are in, well, when you're talking about utensils, you're talking about the operating cost of the restaurant, honey.
Okay.
What your numbers are going to be for.
All
You know,
right.
the overall cost factor of what you're going to get done. We're talking really about just basically the basic of the building and all that, but the equipment, it's all included in one big price of plates, utensils, and all of that stuff. And something, you know, like that, you've already got, so you don't really include so much of that. You include the building, the electricity, the all the other kind of stuff, the main purpose of it.
Okay, thank you.
So understanding that, so make sure you get that. Other variables, if you're wrapped, the filet and bacon, remember what happens then? Cha-ching. Your cost will increase. The charge might be making it up to $25 per unit price. Remember? Remember the next one, Chevy. Go down. Keep going right there. This change might make $25 price point more appropriate. Remember, everything goes into the customer's plate, must be accounted for. You see that little stick of butter on the top? That's what accounts for a tablespoon or a teaspoon of butter. Let's say this drives your food cost up to a total cost of your meal is $17 at the menu price of $25. This will have the same effect of dropping the price to $24 without adding the bacon and herb butter. You still have 32%, which is respectful, but your customers might be a lot happier with the established meal. The word of mouth is everything. The absolute minimum you must charge to make a profit. Off a version of the filet mignon dinner at $25. Portion control. Wow. Look at the plate, guys. Kind of important. Vegetables, protein, and starch. One reason chain restaurants are so successful at that they have a firm handle on the portions. The cooks in the restaurant know exactly how much ingredients to put in every dish. Shrimp scampi might have a portion control of 6 shrimp per dish. So every shrimp scampi that goes out of the kitchen has at least 6 shrimp on it. No more, no less.
So if I have 7 shrimp, what's going to happen? I've costed it out for 6, so I'm losing money. So, you know, portion control is very, very important, especially when you're cutting meat. Like if we cut a steak to 8 ounces, or it's supposed to be 8 ounces and it's really 12 ounces, I'm losing money every time I sell a steak. So you got to watch out on portion control. Very, very important.
Yeah. So make sure also, if you're going to say 8 ounces of meat, don't put 9 ounces. That 1 ounce, and you start taking 10 dinners, you're giving away another steak for free. Get what I'm saying? Because that 1 ounce from that one steak, and you keep doing it, is going to be making another steak that you just lost $30 from. The word is think. So everything you should be measured out. If you're going to practice portion control in your kitchen, beef, fish should be weighed, while shredded cheese can be stored in portion control cups, and measuring cups can dish out mashed potatoes. You can eyeball the serving amount, sort, or like Rachel Ray. If you feel comfortable cooking on a menu, but err on the side of caution to make sure that everything is measured out in early stages of your restaurant. Remember, learn to do it from the first time you do it and continue. That's what we try to do at the school, to teach you how to do it. Another way to practice portion control is purchase pre-packaged items. Chicken breast, pizza dough. These items might be more expensive, but save labor in the long run. How many times have you seen that? All the time. Think, what is the best way for you to save money, but give them quality? Balance out menus. Food products fluctuate depending on the season, the weather, even the price of gas. One day lettuce might be $10 a case and it jumps to $30 the following week. Sort out of changing your entire menu for a few weeks. There's little you can do for jumping prices. Anything. So you have to stay on top of what you buy. Record it. Make a star next to it. So the next week, if you change a menu, you might not want to use that again. The first week, since you've decided on it, you have to use it. You might be losing a little bit, but you're going to give it back in other ways.
Just think about all the pork and the chicken that's going to be jumping in price because of the lack of supply right now.
You can maintain your desired food cost. However, if you balance expensive items with a portion of the price action, the items are more suitable price. So go ahead and include some fresh lobster and beef on your menu, but temper it with less expensive chicken or pasta dishes. Really thought, making it work. A lot of places with lobster today having a hard time selling it. Prices have come down. Balance it out. Keep in mind the cost of some expensive cuts of meat can approach 50% of the menu price. The cost of of appetizers and dessert, virtually nil, so your gross product margin percent will be higher. Arrange your menu so it is balanced out with a decent profit for you. The bottom line, creating a price point for your menu is essential for keeping costs down and sales up, understanding the roles of portion control and food cost. will help you create a restaurant menu that balances customers' expectations. Menu prices are the most important for your customers as they know you. Most diners know that they're willing to spend more for their meal if they sit down at one of your tables. Maybe not a firm dollar line in the sand, but at least have several general parameters in the mind. And it's human nature to be pleased when you spend money, less money than you expected. Important factors bring one last very important factor in menu pricing. What are your competitors charging? Visit the meal or have a friend associates do so with the guys down the street selling the special filet mignon on dinner. And you don't want to price your $5 above that. No matter how much the math works out, your customers will begin dining down the street if your version is truly exceptionally and worth the extra $5. Remember, key ingredients, top-notch ingredients. And that, of course, is the whole difference of an issue. Reducing cost. The menu is just a dish of dishes. Everything on the menu has to be made. Requires people, food, and equipment. Your restaurant will only have so much of each. So you should be efficient as possible with the resources you have available. This means making sure your inventory has cross-utilization. What does cross-utilization ingredients mean? Using one item different ways. Whenever possible, you should find a multiple ways to use one ingredient. If you have only a few ingredients, the easier to store it, track of it, and so on. It makes it easier for a new staff to learn how to handle them. Down one, chef. Ingredients also generally lead to lower cost. If they easily to prepare, employees don't have to be as highly trained. If they aren't perishable, they can be stored at room temperature rather than a cooler. Multi-ways of graham crackers, multi-use. One smart cookie, Nutty Professor, Mint to Teach, and Class Act. Different ways of multi-purposing a graham cracker or a s'more. Cross-utilizing equipment. Each item on your menus, think about what equipment you need to make it. Some require equipment that might not be used very much. If you're not opening a steakhouse, then you might not use a broiler. Or as they would say, a salamander, right? In essence, cross-utilization of equipment. If you aren't making a lot of fried food, a fryer would not be in the space. It costs of money not to run it. In case of equipment, it is used for one or two items. It's going to sit unused for most of the day. If you have a set equipment that you use for a lot of different items, you're making good use of the space and the money spent for the equipment. Some pieces of equipment used: smoothies, cups, glasses, jars. Connected costs. Keep in mind that someone always has to do the work and someone has to pay for the work to get done. Buying more prepared items will save in labor cost, since the prep cooks are not doing that much prepping, but it will be more expensive. Preparing everything in a house will keep the food cost down, but drive the labor cost high. You know what? I'm going to tell you, in all the years that I've worked, a lot of the stuff that we get already pre-made, for me, is not always the best. I would rather swallow and make it from scratch. I would say the meat cuts might be a good thing from a butcher shop, would come in handy. But I think pre-formed of everything like macaroni and cheese or green beans or something, there's a lot of people that use those things. I don't think I would go in that direction. it might cost you $10 a pan cheaper. But I would rather have hands-on artesian way of making things. You got it? To understand what you're representing yourself. If somebody doesn't know, somebody understands Cajun food, but doesn't realize your Cajun food of what you love to make. Connecting it. Getting in your groups, work individually, come up with ideas to concept of location menus for your projects. What do we take away today? Really understanding how important it is to find out your surrounding of where you want to be. How do you cost your food out, even to the grain of salt that you're going to be using? A slice of tomato, a unit price of anything that we use. Carrots, how much is a bunch? Divided by how many you got in that bunch. That's how you get the unit price for that carrot. Potatoes, how many is it in a 50-pound bag or a 5-pound bag? How much is it by pound if you're buying it at the store? Divided by the servings that you're going to be making. Remember, you've got to peel it. Remember one thing. Edible portions, EP versus AP. Everybody know about EP versus AP? Nobody knows that?
I don't.
Oh my gosh. So let's talk a little bit about AP versus EP. What does AP mean? Anybody know? As purchased. Write it down. Write it on a piece of paper. This is really important for you guys. AP means as purchased. EP means edible portions. That means if you get a potato, you got a cantaloupe, as purchased, you take the skin off and then you weigh it again, right? And that's the edible portion because you've taken the skin off. How many times do you think that when the recipe calls for 5 pounds of potatoes, doesn't mean with the skin on it, it might be the recipe that you're going to peel that skin off, and how much do you have left weighing? Do you get what I'm saying? So if somebody says you 5 pounds of potatoes, you might have to buy 6 pounds to make that 5 pounds of EP. Loretta, do you understand?
Absolutely.
Matthew, you get it? How about you, James? You understood that? Marcus, you understood that? Lila, do you understood that? Callie, got it? So that's it. And Rena, you got it? I want to see it. So you understand that when a recipe calls for something, you might have to buy more of something. Ivan, good, thank you. Victoria, Mina, Nigel, you're still not there, but you're on your thumb up. Anthony, just remember, so the recipe, when it calls and you go to the grocery store and you buy 5 pounds of potatoes and you peel all of them, you might only have 3.5 pounds there. So then again, what's going to happen? You're already wasting that 1.5 pounds that you peeled off. Same thing with meat. You're buying the meat, and after you've cut the meat up, it's a totally different weight. Gonna have to buy more. When I do pork loin, I buy the pork loin, and by the time you take some of it off, what happens then? You get the true weight. AP versus EP. Really an important factor that you need to learn, the importance of food. Anybody have any questions today? A good knowledgeable day today, learning a little bit more, isn't it? The reality of food. So those are the things that is important. Really, really important. So make sure, remember what we said. What is the restaurant percentage that we want to be at?
30 to 35.
That's right. Some of the hotels and country clubs go higher than that, but that's not in the norm because they're getting their money from the front, that they can do it. How do you think Las Vegas does it and serves what they serve? Because the people are coming in to buy. The amount of people that walk in. Are you all looking at chat? Everybody 30 to 35? Yeah, I'm looking at the chat set. Marcus, you get that? Today was an important day, cutting understanding about AP versus EP. Dessert-wise too. Just because you cut the cake around the edges, the brownies around the edges, EPs versus AP, right? Edible portions. Are you going to take the crumbs and save it somewhere else? I would think so. The only time you can't do it is like melons or something else that you're taking the seed out.
Chef, if you save vegetable scraps for a stock, would that be considered an edible portion or AP?
No, that would be just a regular gratis to the restaurant.
Okay.
You know, you're not throwing it away.
Right.
You're not putting it in the compost pile.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, or you're not giving it to somebody that has chickens.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of a restocking of vegetable for making stock. And what happens then is that then you're going to have stock, which is really good because it's down to nothing because you don't have to buy chicken stock. You don't have to buy it because you're taking the chickens, making your chicken breast. But if you're going to do roasted chicken, I'd buy a whole chicken. But if you're going to do chicken breast, I would definitely go to the chicken and buy it by the portion size.
Like prefab chicken?
Yeah, prefab chicken, much better. It's a little expensive, guys. How many breasts are you going to get out of one chicken? Two. You see what I'm talking about? And you might as well get it done for you so you don't have, we have one less labor to worry about. Overall picture of what you're doing. You know, how much does a prime rib? Anybody serve what they call it, a steam house? A big steam house roast? Has anybody done that? It's about 40 pounds of meat. It's fabulous. You put it on a carving station, but it's great for holidays. Steam round, it's wonderful. Steamship round. So a lot of different things today. A lot of different ways of bringing attention to where you want to be to make it work. That's really important. I hope you learned a little bit today to understand the procedures and what it takes to make money. The word is think. The word is artesian way of making it work. Austin, it is a weird town, as you would all say, to make it work. Anybody have any questions today? Marcel, Victoria, I want to see you all before we all say goodbye. I need to see you all. Ivan, Tammy, hi, how are you? Welcome. Welcome back. So make sure that you all understand where we are to make it work. And understanding EP versus AP is really important. My gosh, Andre, I can't take the hat off, Pumpkin. I'd appreciate that. Remember, white shirts tomorrow. I do definitely want to see if you've got a t-shirt on, get it washed today. I give you 24 hours time to get it done. You, Trent, too. Kimberly also. Your hair looks great, Andre. You're a mess.
Hey, Chef, can I just say something?
Yeah.
Can I just say hi? It is so good to see your faces, guys. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad to pop in and see your
Yeah, we've got Chef Cliff over there, our leader.
Yeah.
And so we've got everybody. Mia, you better be on there. Victoria, get on. Anthony. Bye, Chef. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
And I'm going to tell you, this is a great group because they really want to learn. And that's what the whole key word is all about, is wanting to learn and being here.
I can tell.
Yeah,
Bye,
they
guys.
are.
Great to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So anyway, but other than that, so think about the project that we're doing. It's a little bit more. Remember, you're going to have to stand up just individually. You're going to be there the last couple of days. You're going to have to in order to get a grade. You think I'm kidding? Not, because this is a learning process. This is a learning ability for you to learn. And then, you know, you don't have to see me again. And you don't have to see Chef Cliff again. But I wanted to make it happen. To make it work.
Chef, what do you want from us in that regard?
Oh, at the end, your restaurant project.
No, I mean what exactly you want us to present it to you?
Oh yeah, in front of everybody.
Yeah, so what you're gonna do is,
you know that makeup, just brighten it up a little bit more, smile a little bit more, and we'll love it.
Okay, I'm just trying to see what exactly are you looking for.
Look on your portal, and it'll tell you exactly what you have to get done. And that's not due for another 2 weeks. You okay? Loretta, don't worry, honey. It's okay.
No, I'm I'm trying to, because we're not gonna like, do you want us to just talk about what our menu is, what our
yeah, so
cost is,
Loretta,
and the area is,
can you all
and
hear
what
me?
your name is, and all of that.
Yes, Chef.
You're gonna
yeah.
bloom. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is y'all are gonna have your menu and you're just gonna basically say, hey, this is my restaurant, Cliff's Restaurant. It's gonna be located in Southwest Austin. And the menu is this. These are the reasons why I put, this is why I put this food, or just explain just a little bit the reason why we want to do that. And this was more on ground, but even here, the reason why we want you to do that is so you can be able to speak to people, to be able to talk, be able to communicate, and so you can kind of just talk to us about your project. I mean, it doesn't have to be like all in great detail, like I did this, 32% food cost and da-da-da-da-da. I just want to know a little bit about your restaurant, maybe what you might have on the menu, maybe some of the cost items, how much it costs for this item, any little information about that.
Okay, I was just trying to see how detailed you wanted us to be.
You're going to send me so what you're going to do is y'all are going to share with me the spreadsheet or all of that. You're going to share everything with me. And then, and then when you're presenting it on just in this Zoom meeting, right, it's going to be about 3, 4, maybe no more than 5 minutes of you just kind of talking about your restaurant.
Okay, got it.
That's kind of what we're looking for.
Yeah, and in other words, the reason why we're doing it for you to come up there is like train a trainer, is for you to come up and represent yourself in selling your restaurant.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so that's what it's all about, is really being comfortable. Remember, we're not here to judge. We're here to get excited about your menu. We're here to get excited about what you want to offer. We're excited about what your train of thought is and how you want to express it. Really important. So
Yes.
that's what it is. Yes.
That explanation about our menu and our costing sheets, do you want it in like slideshow format? Like
You can if you want to.
Everything.
But the only problem then, Chef Cliff, is that a problem for her to show it on our menu, on our board?
Put the costing sheets and like the picture of the menu all in one slideshow.
Yeah, That's totally fine by me.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So think about where you want to go. Think about what you want to do. And I know a lot of you want to show us what you can do. Really excited about that.
Okay, so someone on the chat said, so do we come to the school to present it? No, you're going to present it just like this. We're going to take 5 minutes. Everybody's going to go and say, you know, this is my restaurant. This is where it's going to be located. You know, the reason why, or anything you want to talk about your restaurant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, don't worry. I'll just look at you weird though. I'm looking forward to it. And I know Chef Cliff is. Andre, you're getting your stuff together. Feel it. Kendricks.
You already know, Chef. You already know.
Oh, wait a minute. What's the matter? Look at the smile. What's the matter?
Unmute yourself, dude.
Who's got the music on?
His speaker's
That's me.
what's wrong with his speaker, remember?
So make sure 5 minutes of your time. Remember, trainer. We're going to get all of you on, you know, and hear it. Really, thanks for such a great day. And I hope you learned something today. Kendricks, did you learn anything, or were you just sitting back and relaxing? You learned?
His mic isn't working, I don't think.
I know it. No, it isn't. But his mic will be working in a week or two. I know, because he's got to show it up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You've got 2 weeks to get it done. So anybody that things are not working, get your stuff together. If not, I'm going to come drive where you are. Get you. I've done that. So I think Trent and Robert know me really well, don't they?
Yeah.
No, I'll do it. So Chef Cliff doesn't know me very well at all.
I mean, if you're gonna drive to my house, will you at least bring cookies?
The chocolate chip with truffle inside? Yeah. Yeah.
It actually sounds so good.
Yeah, they are good. So yeah, I mean, remember, don't forget, I promised you something when we all get back to school. I promise. Do you hear me? So round me up and we'll do something together. I'll come in your time. It doesn't make any difference. Your time is my time. Whatever makes you happy makes me happy. You know, do you get it? Because then I get the honor of meeting you all, especially like Andre and Kendrick. I don't know about him.
Yeah.
And get to meet you all. Roro, I get finally to meet you. Ivan, Marcus, another one. Kimberly, James. I think I've passed you in the hallway sometimes or something, but I didn't know who you are.
We've seen each other.
What?
We've seen each other around, Chef.
Yeah, we will. Loretta, you too. I'll corner you. Anyway, again, thanks for a great day. Thank you, Chef Cliff, for putting up with me. And thank you for, if you have any questions today on anything, let me know. Send me an email. I'm trying to get it all taken care of. And you just all be safe, please. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Have a great day.
Chef, you're gonna comment still and leave us comments on our menus. No, I'm gonna keep asking.
What? You didn't get it yet? You didn't get it yet? Okay,
No.
I'll do it right now when I get off. I'll do it right away.
Chef, are you sending it back to the emails that we sent it to you from?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'll send it. Yours was really, really good. Now, Roro, yours was good, but a little bit too big. Do you understand my point? We need to condense it to a little bit smaller, if I remember correctly, to do
Chef,
that.
You got my menu, or are you talking about the?
I already got your menu. I already saw it.
Thank you.
I saw that, girl. You got your stuff together. Love
Thank you,
it.
girl.
What did you do? Did you do that? I gotta keep
That's the goal.
I gotta keep going. You know, it's like Kendrick. I gotta get him getting it motivated to move. Look at me. You know, get the smile on his face. And Callie still crocheting. Just keep on trucking. You know,
going with that.
I know.
He's really
As
good.
long- Hey, listen, I'm on my last chapter, 5 pages of this book, and I gave it up today to do the lecture for you. It's driving me crazy to find out what the last 5 pages is doing. You know? I know. I like to read. But that's good. Thanks for being with me today. Loved it.
Yeah.
And I'll send you all. Thank you, Chef Cliff. Thank you, Trent, for being here all day.
Thank you.
That's a challenge for you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
don't forget to send me that project. Did you
Yes,
send me the project? No? Get it done.
Yes, ma'am.
No, yes, ma'am, fit. I need to get it done.
I'll get it done.
You better, otherwise it's a 0. Do you want a 0? I'll give you a 0. It's not a problem for me.
No, I'll take 100 on it if I can.
You know, I'm looking at you.
I know.
I know, you don't like it. It's okay. All right. Callie, did you get that book yet?
Jeff, it should be here by Friday. It shipped Sunday, so.
Okay. All right.
It says it'll be expected Friday, so I'll get.
Okay, good. Oh,
this
you're gonna
weekend.
love it. You're gonna love it, love it, love it.
Awesome.
I'm really excited about that. That you're gonna really like.
Yeah, and I'll connect with you to get some guidance on where we want to go with
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'll read it this weekend.
You got my email though back. to
I
what you
did.
wrote to
I
me.
did.
Okay. You
Yeah,
did.
but
And
I'll read the book this
I'll take
weekend.
care of you today.
Okay, and I'll read the book this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And Roro, I'll send that to you today.
Okay.
Not a problem, honey. Any other questions?
No, I was thinking about going into catering instead of doing my food truck, just because it's so much. For food, I believe.
Inquire about the food truck.
Ma'am,
Inquire about the food truck.
say that one more time.
Inquire about the food truck.
Did I inquire? No.
Inquire.
No.
Yeah, why don't you look at that picture, do some research today, about an hour's worth, to see what it costs for a food truck, then getting into catering.
Yes, ma'am.
But then don't forget, the food truck, you can get money every day. The catering can only come once or twice a week, or maybe once a month. You get what I'm saying? So you
Yes.
have to initially think, remember the word again, think of where your priority is.
Okay. I just think it's because of the food I'm selling that I want to sell because I want to go down a healthy route.
Yeah. So what I would do is probably if you want to do catering, go to a catering company and learn it first a little bit on hands-on before you do invest yourself.
Okay.
And then you know, yay or nay, which direction you want to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Really
Okay.
important part for that aspect. You know, what do you believe in? What do you want to show? What do you want to give?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to love? There's some companies, you know, I mean, there's one in town that if you want to name a name, I'll give you one name that she would gladly hire you. So let you know, all right?
Yes.
And then you get, and that's run properly. That's run great. And that's what you want to know. It might cost you a little bit more money, but in the long run, you're learning it to do it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
not a half-ass way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're here for me today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Chef.
Pumpkin. Have a
a
great,
good day.
great day, and I love this smile.
Me too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, Chef, I gotta go. I've got an electrician coming over.
I'm done. I don't have any. I
Oh,
don't.
okay. All
It's
right.
only. I mean, it's only at 8:45. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Have a great day,
Everything. The
Chef.
day.
I'll talk to you.
The only day you didn't get from me